Rising out of the plains of western South Dakota's Black Hills are an inviting sight. And they are also the home to the last gold rush of the Rocky Mountains. Indeed, the last gold rush in the lower 48 states of the Union. In 1874, prospectors discovered gold along the streams of the Black Hills, and by 1876, the last lawless frontier was the mining boomtown of Deadwood.
You have people coming in who are there for no good. They're there for the excitement, to gamble, to steal, to rob. You have a predominantly young population, young men. Some women come, but generally those are prostitutes that then are there to make their own money. And the whole town's in an upheaval. Traditionally, these settlements, like the Black Hills, the early gold rush settlements, are prior to law enforcement. Black Hills, of course, was settled prior to any legal authority. The federal government had no authority, nobody had authority, so the miners held sway.
1876 was also the year that two of the Wild West's most memorable events occurred. The Battle of the Little Bighorn, also known as Custer's Last Stand, and the gunning down of Wild Bill Hickok in a Deadwood, South Dakota saloon a few weeks later. Wild Bill, the West's most celebrated lawman, had fallen on hard times and was now unable to live the bigger-than-life reputation created for him by the Eastern press. With his stunning 6'3" frame and long curly hair, he could go nowhere without being noticed. For a time, he joined his friend Buffalo Bill Cody's Wild West show. But in the end, Hickok was drawn back to the lawless frontier, where he felt most comfortable. And it was here at the gaming tables that he could satisfy the need that became his Achilles heel: his addiction to gambling.
In the spring of 1876, he married Agnes Lake Thatcher. She had been a patron of Wild Bill's, and again, Wild Bill was really down on his luck. He really wasn't making an income to support his lifestyle, and probably married this woman who was well off. She ran a circus, and then he, after they married in Cheyenne, then he took her back to Cincinnati, Ohio. He told her that he was going to head to the Black Hills to stake a claim and to produce a living. So he heads back west, picks up in Cheyenne his good friend Charlie Utter, and they head to the Black Hills. On the way, they stop at Fort Laramie, and the Army has been pretty fed up with Calamity Jane, who had been drunk for days there, and they asked Charlie Utter and Wild Bill if she could accompany them on the wagon train. They arrived in Deadwood around mid-July of 1876, and Wild Bill did go and prospect in the creek beds a little bit, but he spent most of his time playing poker, gambling in the establishments in Deadwood. So he was here less than a month when on August the 1st he went into the number 10 saloon and gets involved in a poker game with Bill Sutherland, who was also called Jack McCall. Now he was successful in beating Jack McCall. The next day, around noon, Wild Bill returns to the number 10 saloon and sits down. Legend has it that Wild Bill always liked to sit with his back to the wall. Well, in the number 10 saloon, the front door would have been facing him, but the back door would have been behind him. He asked Charlie Rich if he would switch chairs with him, and Charlie Rich, who was one of the other gamblers, declined. So they were engaged in playing a hand of cards, and Jack McCall comes in through the back door, and Wild Bill doesn't notice him. At that time, Captain Massey had just beat Wild Bill's hand. Captain Massey had 4 sevens and Wild Bill had a king full house. And Wild Bill asked Sam Young, the bartender, to get him $15 more of chips. And at that same time, Wild Bill said to Captain Massey, "You old duffer, you beat me on the hand." And then bang. Jack McCall shoots him in the back of the head, and Wild Bill drops dead.
So, at the age of 39, the greatest icon of the Old West was dead. The greatest gunfighter, the one who killed more men than any other lawman, the loner, the kind and compassionate man of justice, was dead. Today, Deadwood has become a gambling mecca for tourists. The Number 10 Saloon, where Wild Bill Hickok was shot, now finds its name on the other side of the street. The original Number 10 Saloon burned down in the tragic fire of 1879. The spot is now occupied by the Wild West Casino.
Hi, I'm Bill Ambrose. If you like this video, subscribe so we can bring you more programming from our studio. Thank you for subscribing.